Hello, my name is Vasil. I'm a Russian attorney. In this video, I will tell you how to come to Russia to stay here forever or at least for long. Let's go. At the end of this video, I will tell you how much life in Russia costs as of May 2024. Let's discuss. Before I talk about all ways to move to Russia, I want you to understand the basic principles. The key to a successful move is a goal. You need to answer the question, why do you want to live in Russia? What is my goal? If you clearly understand the purpose of moving to Russia, then the way will appear by itself. Second, the status of a Russian citizen is not required to permanently reside in the country. In addition to citizenship, which is hard to get, there are other grounds that allow you to stay in the country 365 days a year. For example, you can get a temporary or permanent residence permit. In these cases, you are free to live in Russia in the same way, with the only difference that you will not be able to vote in elections and you'll have to be more careful with obeying the law. And now the ways themselves. Let's get it started. First base, education. Enroll to a Russian educational institution. Upon admission, you will receive visas for the entire period of study. During your full-time training, you will improve your Russian language, and upon graduation, you'll be able to apply for a permanent residence permit and citizenship. And if you graduate with honors, at least 75% of excellent marks and no satisfactory marks, you are eligible to immediately obtain Russian citizenship. Tuition, depending on the status of the university, can cost from $1,000 per year and can reach $5,000 per year, for example, at Moscow State University. In addition, you will have to incur rent. For instance, a one-bedroom apartment in Moscow costs about $700 monthly, as well as food costs for about the same amount, like $700 per month. Second, work in Russia. The employer will send you an invitation, issue a work permit for you, and you will receive a salary. In Moscow, the average entry-level salary is about $1,500. Taxes on personal income in Russia are levied at a rate of 13%. Sometimes an employer also provides housing for its employees, but if not, then you will also rent housing yourself for about $700 for an apartment or $400 for a room with a shared bathroom and kitchen. 3. Investments in Russia. To get a permanent residence permit in Russia, you can simply buy real estate here for no less than $550,000 in Moscow or $250,000 in other regions. And you immediately receive a residence permit. 4. Marriage. Having a Russian spouse is the basis for obtaining a temporary residence permit. However, you must pass the Russian language exam, and foreigners often can't overcome this obstacle. 5. Russian citizen child. In Russia, citizenship is given by the right of the blood, by the citizenship of a parent. If you and your Russian spouse have a child and he will receive Russian citizenship, then you have the right to immediately apply for a permanent residence permit in Russia. But passing a Russian language exam is also required. So these are all possible ways. And now the most interesting thing, how much it costs to live in the capital of Russia. Let's make some examples. Subway ticket, 70 cents. Loaf of bread, 50 cents. Bottle of milk, $1 per 1 liter. Chicken, $3 per kilo. Beef, $5. Let's say about Big Mac in McDonald's. Now it's named Вкусная точка in Russia. In English, tasty period. It costs $1.50. Dinner in a good restaurant for two, like $150. Flowers average $2 per 1 flower. Movie ticket, $5. Taxi average distance in Moscow costs like $15. Tickets for the high-speed train to St. Petersburg from Moscow cost $45. Apartment rental from $700 monthly. Buying a one-bedroom apartment of 35 square meters, for example, will cost from $100,000. Utilities for a similar apartment will cost $150 per month. If you want to buy a car, then new Toyota Camry will cost $50,000. Gasoline, 70 cents per liter or $3.50 per gallon. The minimum fine for a traffic violation is $5. Parking in the center of Moscow will cost also $5 per hour. Driver's liability insurance varies depending on vehicle power, but average it's like $150 per year. I hope you now understand the approximate cost of living in Moscow. Make your choice depending on your goals or circumstances. My name is Vasily Tarashenko. I'm a Russian attorney. We are waiting for you in Moscow and in Russia in common. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.